Hey y'all, hey, I'm so sorry that I'm late. Welcome to the Book I Won't Write podcast, episode number 5. I'm your host, Jahira Brooks. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm going to wait for a couple more people to hop on and then I'm going to get going. I'm not going to be long tonight. I should be done before 9 or maybe right at 9. But hey, y'all, hey, if you can see me, go ahead and comment, say something back. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. Tune in with me, let me see you that you're watching. Go ahead and like, tag, and share this video. If you haven't already, follow me on my social media. On YouTube, I'll put the link in the description. And then also on Facebook and both my regular page and my business page at the Book I Won't Write podcast. But hey, y'all. I can't see who watching right now. But say something so I can speak back to you. Hey, Christina. How are you? Have you had a good day today? But I was having technical difficulties, y'all. That's why I started at 8:10 instead of 8 o'clock. I am so sorry. So sorry. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hey, Christina. Good. I'm glad that you're doing good. That is wonderful. So my topic for tonight is going to be change. For those of you who were able to see the podcast cover that I do every Monday. That's the topic for tonight is going to be change. And we're just going to be talking about how some people don't like change and other people love change, but it's really is hard to change, especially if it's something that you've been dealing with that has become habit for you, because habits are hard to break, whether they're good or bad habits, or what you thought was a good habit but it really is a bad habit and it's something that you need to work on. And then we're going to talk about what causes real change and what causes change at all. And then also, can people really change? Do you feel like it's something that's temporal, or is it something that can remain consistent? Also, what do you do when people don't acknowledge the changes that you've made? You know that you've changed a lot, and then people fail to recognize that. How do you move in a situation like that? Or what do you do when you've changed and it's like no one cares for the changes that you've made, but you know that you're doing right, and you know that God may have caused you to grow and change, and now you're in a season of isolation. So what does that look like when you're changing for the better for yourself, but no one else is acknowledging it? Hey, Shay, how are you? I will see you after this. But so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Everybody that's tuning in, just go ahead and speak, throw your hand up, like, tag, and share this video. And if you're watching the replay, then you can just hashtag replay. So change for me, I've never been a big fan of change. I know that change is inevitable. However, I've always been like I'm comfortable where I am, so it's going to be hard for me to shift my mindset and do something different type of person. But I realize that you can't be like that, because as we grow older, we're supposed to, develop and grow. But how can you do that if you're not willing to change? When you grow, you don't remain the same. You don't remain stuck at where you were, but you grow, you increase. So for me, sometimes I've noticed that there have been different factors that have caused me to change. So fear can cause change, and then you also have just you're coming into the knowledge of something else. You know better, basically, so now you want to do better. And then also just internal change. You get tired of doing things the same way, and then from that comes change. And we're going to hit on all three of those. One of the ones where change is like temporal is when you change out of fear, or you change because of other people. Somebody does something, and somebody may say something to you that they don't like that you've done, and now you're changing for them, but you're changing that particular thing that they didn't like, but you're not you don't really understand why it's necessary for change to take place. So it's easy for you to slip up and do it again because you're just doing it temporarily when you don't really have that full understanding of why it is that you need to change. Then you may not change, or the change may not be consistent. And that's where a lot of times lines gets crossed and people get upset because it's like, well, you said that you were going to work on this. However, it comes like a week or so down the line and you're still doing the same thing because it hasn't become habit for you. You're just doing it temporarily to appease someone's feelings. But when you start working on something for yourself and you come into the knowledge of, oh well, this isn't good, this isn't something that I should continue to do, now it becomes permanent because it's something that you're actively working on for yourself. I've always been a person, like, it's like I wouldn't really have a drive to do nothing. If I didn't want to do it, then I wouldn't do it. If I couldn't understand it, then it's not something that I would be consistent with. And now that I'm trying to have a more intimate relationship with God, I see certain stuff in his word and it's like, dang, if I had to just move like this, how he said, then I would have been fine. And now versus trying to please people, because people are so like fugazi. Like one minute they like something, then the next minute they don't. And if you're always trying to appease people, then you're always going to come out on the short end because you just can't please people. You can't please everybody. Some people you may be able to please, and then other people it's just never enough, right? But with God, when you're trying to please God, as long as you're trying to do what it is that God said do, then real change can take place because now it's become a lifestyle for you. It's become an active habit for you. If I continue to read certain scriptures every day, now I can apply it to my life. Now it's a lifestyle. Now I'm not just doing it to make my husband happy or to make my mama happy or to make my pastor happy. Hey, pastor, I'm doing it to please God. I'm doing it as an act of service to God. That's my love language to him, changing, because I shouldn't be conformed to the world. I should be transformed by the renewing of my mind in Christ Jesus. That's what the word says. Hey, Auntie Mary. So if I change for God, then I'm able to make changes for myself that ultimately make me a better person. So now my interactions with other people, they're better. Now you don't have to tell me, oh, Jahara, I don't like how you did that, because I'm living according to how God says. So now everything I do lines up with what he would want, and it looks how he would want it to look. So now you can't say anything about, oh, I don't like this, because I'm already moving how I should. So now, whereas I might have had a problem with something before, now it's no longer an issue because I have my mind right, because my mind has been renewed through the word of God. Now I'm changing to please God. I'm not changing to please you, because if I change to please you, it's easy for me to mess up. But if I'm changing for God, I know that there's that grace there. I know that there's mercy there. Because with other people, you don't change right then and there, and they'll give up on you. They'll throw you to the side. They'll be mad. They'll be like, oh, dang, well, you ain't changed. You ain't never going to change. You always going to be like that. And that's not the case, because change is a gradual process. It takes time, especially if you're just now learning. I always was cool with older people because I grew up with older people. So in my head, it's like I'm 25, but I'm really 62, because I've always been around older people all my life. So there is like a certain level of maturity that I have. However, I still have my 25-year-old moments, or areas where I should have learned something as a teenager, or like something in middle school. It's like I still might revert back to that. And now I'm 12 on this day when it comes to something, because I never did make that change. And I used to get mad when people would call me a baby. Oh, you 25, you just a baby. I'd be like, ma'am, sir, first of all, I'm a senior citizen. Watch yourself. Respect your elders. But no, I had to realize that I'm still a child in certain areas of my life. I am an adult, but in certain areas of my life, I haven't matured. I haven't changed. And it comes with experience. Some people, when me and my husband, excuse me, for example, he's older than me. So whereas I do have a certain level of maturity where we can hold certain conversations, but he may say something to me, but I haven't had any experience in that area. So now it's like, okay, I am mature enough to hold a conversation with you about it, but I don't have that understanding exactly of what it is that you mean, what it is that you're saying. I don't know how to meet you on this level that you want me to because I don't have experience in the area. So I would need grace here. I need you to show me mercy here because it's taking time for me to come up to where you are because you have a couple years over me. I haven't been there. You've experienced more. You understand this in a different capacity, or even with friends, you may experience different things. But if I haven't had that experience yet, I don't know how to move. I don't know how I would move in a certain situation. That's why it's important not to put your mouth on what you would or wouldn't do in a situation, because you never know until you're placed in that situation. Because you don't know the thought process. You've never been there. It's easy to say what you would do. It's easy to put your mouth on a situation when you haven't experienced it. But when you get in the heat of the moment, and now that's your circumstance, now you got to figure out some things. Now it's, okay, so how do I handle this with grace? How do I handle this and still be able to be my best self in each capacity that I need to be? Change is so hard sometimes, but it's necessary. And you can't be so stuck in your old ways thinking that you know everything, that you're not willing to change, and that you're not willing to listen to people who have oversight, especially spiritual oversight. There's some things that pastors say to me, and I just be like, okay, I know that, but do you do it though? It's one thing to know it. And you always hear in church, God be a blessing to the hearers and the doers of the word. We hear stuff, but how often do we do it? That's where the change takes place, not when you just go to church. So I've went to church all my life, but a change hasn't really begun to take place until the last 1 or 2 years, because I didn't make the change. I didn't apply those scriptures. I didn't meditate on the word day and night that I heard. I got the instructions, but what did I do with them? When you get a car, a lot of us, we just be so happy to drive. We don't read that manual. It's still in a glove compartment. We don't know what it says. Hey sis, how you doing? So everything could be going wrong with the car, and it could be something simple to fix if we just go in the glove compartment and pull out those notes, pull out that manual, see what it is that we need to do, see why this certain light is on, see what button needs to be pressed. We may not even need to go to the dealership. We may be able to handle it ourselves. But because we put away those instructions, because we ignore them, because we feel as though we don't need them and we can do it in our own strength, then we mess up. So the change takes place when you apply what it is that you receive. You apply the feedback that you get. You apply the instructions that you get. That's how you're able to grow and develop and become better. Hey, Apostle, how are you? So with change, I was slow to change, even now sometimes, but now I'm starting to realize I have no choice but to change. I've suffered losses in relationships because of my inability to change and to see how change was necessary, just because I may not have understood it, but simply because I value the person, or I value the relationship. Changes should have been made swiftly. And I'm realizing that now. That's why I'm so happy that I have this walk that I have with God, because I'm able to see how every relationship that I have in life, or that I will have in life, is predicated on the relationship that I have with God. So if I listen to God's instructions swiftly, he tells me to change fast, I'm able to go ahead and apply that in the natural in my life with different people, because I've already learned that with God. That's why our relationship with God is so important. It's so key to know his principles, to move when he says to move. Because if you're stagnant in your relationship with God, then you'll be stagnant in your relationship with people. And now you'll experience hurt and loss that you may not have had to experience had you just learned how to listen and take that constructive criticism and change different areas that you may need to change, that you may be reluctant to change. But there's a grace. People give you a certain level of grace. Because at the heart of people, they do want to generally see the best in you. They want to see you, come up to their expectations. Sometimes you may not always meet them, but if they're realistic expectations, then you should be able to, if both of you are partnering together, whether it's friends or relationships. So if you're not able to assess what you need to assess and change what it is that's taking place that may be hindering the relationship, then it'll fail and it'll never get better. And I've learned that with God. There's some things with God that I may want or need from him, But it's like I haven't changed the areas that he's told me time and time again to change. And I've had a season of grace where I could change it, and yet I still sit there and I feel as though I have time. And time is running out for a lot of us, because what we have to understand is with age, it shouldn't just be a number. It shouldn't just be that we're growing year after year age wise, but our mentality doesn't change. Our relationship with God doesn't change, especially those of us who are in church. We shouldn't sit there under a word and get the same word every Sunday, and then we never see a change. Everyone else is elevating in their walk, and each walk is personal, don't get me wrong, but you have to take personal accountability to say, you know what, I'm not going to come in, just leave out the same way that I came in. Something in me has to change. I'm not going to continue the same cycles, the same thought processes. I'm not going to make the same mistakes. I'm going to learn from my mistakes. I'm going to learn from the bad decisions that I made, and I'm going to make active change. And then you have people who they'll see you change, right? And you can be doing so good, and it's like you need that validation. You don't need it, but you want it, and that just may be a pocket where you need to work on triggers for rejection or something like that. But people won't acknowledge that you've changed, or as soon as you do something contrary to the change that you say you've made, now they're like, oh, well, you ain't changed. I knew you wasn't going to change. I knew you was still like that. People don't really change, but you can change, but it's just a process. It has to be your heart posture. You have to consistently make it up in your mind that you're going to choose to be a better person each and every day. So people have New Year's resolution, but you need to have a new day resolution. You need to make it up in your mind each and every day that the one thing that you need to work on is going to be the thing that you work on consistently. And when you see yourself slipping up, that's when you need to take a step back and assess what's going on. Why am I reverting back to this old way of thinking? Why do I have a bad habit of doing this? What can I change about my thought process to make sure that I'm consistently resting in this changed place that I say I want to be in? And that comes with God. A lot of stuff just has to be rooted out of you, and we think that we can do stuff on our own, and I've come to realize a lot of things I just can't do by myself. I can't. I need God's strength and his power to do it, because I may want to do something all day, because the scripture says every time I go to do good, evil is always present. So say for instance, I say I don't want to cuss anymore, and then I get around somebody who gets on my nerves, and now we're arguing, and now I'm cussing. But I said I didn't want to do that anymore. But that makes the other person say, oh, well, you haven't changed, Howard. You still cussing. You just cussed me out from here to Timbuktu. I did. However, I'm working on that. So now the next time we argue, it takes 10 minutes for me to cuss versus the 2 seconds that it took the last time. And then the next time it takes maybe 30 minutes. Then the next time I might say one and that's it. And then the next time I don't cuss at all. I just be quiet. But it comes with time. And people don't understand that change is a real process. But you got to give credit to people who trying. Because there's some people who won't try at all. And if you're somebody who's consistently trying, I can't do nothing but give kudos to you, because you made it up in your mind that you're not even no longer just doing it for me, but because you're changing, it's going to affect your relationships with other people. It's going to make you a better parent. It's going to make you a better brother, sister, or whatever the case may be, because you're changing for you. And when you change for God first, like I said earlier, then everything else flows from that. And then when people don't acknowledge the fact that you've changed, don't let it discourage you. I used to get real irritated, real sad, like it would break me down. It would make me cry, because it's like the one person or the few people I want to really see me change, it's like you're not acknowledging it. Or then when you do acknowledge it, it's just like, oh, I see you change, but that's cool. Good for you. Good for me. I thought that's what you wanted. But again, you can't change for people. You have to change for you, because now it's consistent. And now if you realize that they don't too much care that you change, or if they have that, oh, well, good for you. That's great. Change is good for you, but I no longer care. Then you'll stop altogether, and that'll hinder your growth as an individual. And now when it comes down the line, you may have a different relationship or friendship with somebody else, And now you're lacking in the same area that you could have healed and changed from months or years ago. But because you let that one person or those few people halt your growth because of lack of acknowledgement or lack of validation, now you're still repeating the same test. You're going through that same cycle where you need to change, or you're hurting other people because you haven't changed for you. And again, that's why it's so important to everything that you do, let it be for God and let it be for you. You need to be selfish with some stuff. You can't just give so much of yourself away to other people that you forget to be a good person to and for yourself. And then also, what happens when you change and then people don't like what they see. People don't like the change. Oh, you act like you too good now. No, I'm not acting like I'm too good for nothing or for nobody. I'm never belittling anybody. But the thing is, I realized that I needed to shift, that I needed to change, because when you begin to change, like I said, when you know better, you do better. So if I come into the knowledge of, oh, okay, this isn't working. This isn't working for me. I don't like how I feel in this situation. Like for me, I'll go back to my clubbing example. Clubbing, I was never really feeling it. But I was cute though. Again, I was cute. But it was never really my scene. I just go to go. But it's like, I feel the shift, and now I no longer want to participate. I no longer want to do that. And now I have instances, then I have instances where it's like, come on, Howard, you can go to this. This ain't really even no club for real. I said, I don't want to go. And then now, conversations fall off. You're not in every group chat no more. Don't nobody really want to talk to you like that no more. And it's like, dang, I thought we was cool outside of, clubbing. I thought there was more to the relationship than that. But then you see, like, sometimes you have different categories of friends. You might have your club group. You might have your book club group. You might have your church group. Hey, Candace, how are you? Very seldom will you find a group of people where it's like you have a multifaceted friend. Sometimes you don't always get that. And when you do, treasure that. I have friends where I can, they ready to go. Whatever I need, they with that. You like this today, you don't like it tomorrow, I bet, let's do it. And then I have people who will also pray with me on the flip side of that coin. And I appreciate that. And I value each relationship that I have, each association that I have with people, because I am a people person, love people, love all the relationships, and value them in my life. But you have to understand that sometimes people are there for a season. People aren't always permanent. And that's a hurting thing, because it's hard for me to let go of people. Once I love you for real. You family for real. Because I didn't have necessarily like a sibling relationship with my siblings, because they were so much older than me. So I always longed for that camaraderie of a sisterhood, or just to have friends. So it's like, if I have to let somebody go, it hurts me. And it takes a long time for me to let go. And I might put up with a whole lot of stuff, until I finally let go. And it's just like, all right, well, let me fall back. And a lot of times people will leave me, but I won't leave. I'll still be there. And that door is open for communication or reconnection. But I had to realize, even with that, you can't always reconnect with people. Right, Candace, it is so hard, because when I'm telling you, when I love somebody, I love them for real. Like, if you're a real true friend to me, not just like a passerby, I love y'all too. But still, like, if you're somebody that I call family, hey, God, mommy, most definitely family permanently. I love you. It's so hard to let go. And I've had to realize in this season of my life, some people can't go with you where you're going. And I was the kind of person, like, I would think small. So I never see what other people can see in me. Like, my pastor be seeing stuff in me, and she'd be like, Howard, what you hear from God? I'm like, ma'am, I ain't heard nothing. I was actually thinking about what I was finna cook when I got out of church. But what you think I see and I heard from God? Because I don't see that. And it's like, so I wouldn't see when people would say, people can't go with you, Jahara, where you going? I'm like, where I'm going? I ain't going nowhere. I ain't even got no gas in my car. What are you talking about? Where am I going? I ain't got no plane ticket. I ain't got nothing. Nothing. Nathaniel, Jesus. Where am I going? Why they can't go? Please. Come on, let me wait on them. Why they can't go where I'm going? I like them. I wanted to sit on the bus with them, Jesus. I wanted to get, a plane ticket. I was going to get the window seat. They could even have the window seat because I fooled with them that hard, Jesus. What do you mean? But I had to understand everybody can't go. And that hurts. That's a harsh realization to come to terms with. I'm always trying to bring people with me, and God be like, I don't. Girl, I be like, everybody must go. Everybody. No child left behind. Come on now. I've known you for years. Where you going? What you mean I gotta leave them? Like, can they come on the next trip? Like they gonna meet me there? Or what? Or like they permanently, like they just gonna stay here, Jesus. I don't like that. But it comes with change and growth. It hurts sometimes, but it's needed. And I've learned that God will take the sting out of stuff so that we're able to continue to move and accomplish our mission. Be sure I'm on, baby, you go wherever I go, mama. Wherever I go, you will always be there. Love you to death. But when people don't like the change version of you, or they don't understand the change version of you, it gets draining when you're trying to explain to somebody how much you change, especially if they may see it but they don't agree with it. So for me, just being in church all the time, for me, I have different assignments, and people will say, well, don't you feel like you're doing too much? You always doing this or that. Maybe you need to take a step back and reevaluate some things. But it's like, no, because if God put it on my plate to do, then that's what I need to be doing. Am I still going to have wisdom and be able to do everything else that I need to do on the back end? Yes, but I've also had to learn balance. So for me with church, when I have, like, during the week, I make sure I work, and then I spend time with my baby as much as possible. Like, I'm playing with her. I may have stuff that I want to work on. Like, I may want to work on a podcast or some other stuff, but I make sure I shut down my time so that I'm spending time with her. I'm giving her the time that she needs. I'm playing with her. I'm loving on her. I'm giving her hugs and kisses. I'm feeding her. I'm reading to her. I'm singing to her. I'm doing all this different stuff so that it won't be said that as she gets older that I spent so much time doing ministry stuff that I didn't spend time being a mommy to her. I never want to be that person. I never want to be too consumed with even what I'm doing, planning stuff, or I have an event coming up Saturday, trying to figure out how I want stuff to be laid out for the demo that I'm going to do. But I always try to be intentional now with my time. And I was talking to my daddy yesterday. He was saying, how come you can't ever come over till late on Sunday? Like, what you got going on? I'm having to learn how to prioritize my time. And that's where change comes into effect, because you hear that something is, hindering a relationship, or he doesn't like something. So now it's like, God, show me how to prioritize. And the Bible says there's a time and there's a season for everything. So if I understand that principle, so now I'm doing what God said. I understand that there's a season for everything. I know that I need to do things decently and in order. That's Bible. That's principle. So me understanding that concept lets me not be able to say, oh, Daddy, well, I'm finna come over here this day, and this day. Knowing that I have other things that I need to handle, that I need to do with the spirit of excellence, but I also need to make sure I'm spending my time with mommy and daddy, because if something happened to mommy and daddy, Jesus Christ, I'm going to be on the floor. Somebody come get me, because I can't. I know I can do all things through Jesus Christ, and it's going to take a whole lot of them if something happened to them, God forbid. But that's my thing, and that's what I'm saying. I understand that it's a problem for him, so I'm going to make sure that I'm intentional. So I'm saying, God, create enough time in my schedule. Give me the strength, give me the stamina to be able to work, to be able to do my ministry stuff, to be able to work on the podcast, to be able to spend time with my baby, and also spend time with my parents, because I value that relationship as well. And that way everyone can go. Some people can't handle, see where God is taking you, or they want to hold you to the old you when God has shifted you. Girl, heavy on that they want to hold you to the old you when God has shifted you to a new season. Oh my God, when I tell you, sometimes I have to put my coat and my scarf and my hat, my earmuffs and my boots on to go back and talk to people. Baby, it's summertime. It is summertime. Why am I putting on a coat and some gloves to come talk to you? I'm not there no more. You want to be a polar bear and an Eskimo and be in the igloo, you stay there all by yourself in Alaska and Antarctica. I can't stay there with you. It's summertime. I got shorts on. I got a crop top on. Okay. I done moved on. I'm no longer there. I'm not in that season. I understand it hurt. I understand I messed up and I'm sorry. I can only say sorry so many times, but let me show you how sorry I am through the change of my life. If you could just see past what I did, if you could just see past who I was, then we could get somewhere. We could get somewhere. But I can't keep on going back to tell you, that I'm no longer here. You just have to look at it. So by the time that, I'm 20 miles down the road, then you're gonna realize, hey, where's Jahira at? She ain't here. She ain't here. That Jahira you thought that you knew that I was, I no longer am. It's expired. Okay. It's off the rack. Never to return again. It's sold out. There's no restock available. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do for you. I'm here. Y'all better get your sandals and your sunscreen out, baby, because it's summertime. We outside. We outside of what we used to be. Okay? And we inside of now who God is calling us to be. We inside of purpose now. Okay? I no longer can address, the old me, the old commentators about, oh, well, you did this and girl, you still do that. Why you ask me, do I still do anything? Look at my life so you can see what I do now. Let my life be an example to you. I'm not fussing. I'm just saying I no longer have time. You no longer have time to continue to address old comments and concerns when you're no longer in that place. And we get so bogged down, we get so frustrated, and we get so depressed and anxious because people still see this picture of them that they want to see in their head, because it's easier for me to deal with you if I feel like this is who you are. This is who you are, so you can't hurt me. People, they're fearful of being hurt. So it's like, if I consider you like this, even with me. So with my mother, for example, my biological mother, I find myself reverting back to, it's like, well, you this, that, and the third. And it's like, you ain't did that in a minute. You ain't said nothing off in quite a while. You've actually been real cool. So I shouldn't even act like that. Hey, Rolona, I shouldn't even act like that because you're no longer in that place. Did you do it? Yes. Did it hurt? Yes. Am I still healing from that? Yes. But that's a choice. That's a change that I need to make. I know better now. I know that you are sorry because you said it so many times. You show me that you're sorry. You consistently call, but if I don't answer the phone, that's on me. That's nothing that you did. You're not wrong. At this instance, I am. So I have to move on from that old way of thinking, of being hurt. I have to let a guard down to an extent so that I can open up to you and accept you for the change that you are. I have to build that relationship with you so that I can accept you for where you are now. I have to relearn you. And sometimes people be lazy. They don't want to learn nothing. They don't want to learn. They just drop out of the class of you. They drop out of your class. They no longer want to learn you. That's a subject they'd rather fail. They feel like they failed it the first time. They don't want to retake it. They don't want to know this changed version of you. And that's okay. It's cool. You don't have, a million majors of the same thing. Everybody doesn't want to major in biology. Everybody doesn't want to major in criminal justice. That's cool. They flunked the class. They don't understand it. They don't want to understand it. They chose something else. It's okay. Does it hurt? Yeah, but it's okay. You have people that will take your class, they will pass it, they will understand it, and they'll graduate, and y'all will be the best of friends. They'll graduate in a relationship with you. They'll become a destiny helper to you. They'll be placed in your life, and they'll stay. And a lot of times we don't like to connect with people because we're so scared of people leaving. But why would I miss my help and my opportunity from you? I'm thinking you're like somebody else from my past. You're nothing like that. You're completely different. I have no choice but to let you in, especially if God is saying that this is your help. This is where your help is coming from. So, Jahira, you need to heal. You need to heal so that you can accept your help. Me and Candace 103, and they're still trying to say, baby, we in Jahira 5.0. And y'all is still on 1.0. I can't help you. I don't even have to know. I don't even have to study guide for 1.0 no more. That class, I don't even have the notes. I ain't got the rubric. I ain't got nothing. I don't have it. I can't help you. We got to move on. Okay. You've been accelerated. You've been promoted. You're in advanced placement now. Okay. Come take this class. Come see what this one about. Because I ain't there. Never to return again. Because I'm a new creature now. All things are new in my life now. Everything has to be new. I don't want nothing old. I can't continue because old things haven't been working for me. When you continue old cycles and old patterns and you're not seeing different results, that's insanity. That's how my pastor put it to me. It's insanity. Why would you keep on doing the same thing and it's not working? That doesn't make very much sense. So I just came on here to tell you, you have to learn how to change for God. What is it that God is shifting you into? What is he shifting you out of? What do you no longer feel comfortable with doing? Think on that. I want you to sit on that. I want you to write that down if you have pen and paper, if you own your notes. What is it that you feel you need to change? It can be subtle. It doesn't have to be everything at once. Matter of fact, our pastor, we just had a leadership call tonight, and she was saying how everything's not going to happen all at once. Find your one target that you're going to have in March. Start working on it. Because I'm the type of person where I feel like I have all these different things that I need to work on. Now I'm overwhelmed and it consumes me, and now I shut down. Now I'm no longer able to work on everything I need to work on because I didn't target one specific thing. Because I'm so scared that because I've run out of time with people, that I run out of time with myself now. Now I don't have time to change everything that I need to change because I feel like it's so much and it's never going to happen, because if I change too late, or if I mess up, then people are going to look at me like, oh, well, Howard, you ain't changed. You're still the same person. You're still the same Howard I used to club with. You're still the same person that used to be cussing and used to be doing every other thing on the sun that you want to do. But I'm not. I'm changing. I mean, I don't do everything right. I'm not perfect by far. I tell you, I'm not at all. Not even close. But I'm trying. And when God sees you trying, and when God sees your consistent effort, he has no choice but to honor that and extend grace to you until you come out of that thing all the way. And then when you're completely free from it, that's when you're able to help somebody else. That's what inspires me to keep going. Because I know once I heal from this, once I work on this, once I completely change this, when I get out of laziness and procrastination, then I'll be the deliverer for it. Then I'll be able to help you out of it. Now I can tell you, look, I used to procrastinate real bad. My time management was real off. These are the things that I did specifically. So now I'm able to help you. Don't feel like, you're the only person dealing with something. Just because I might not talk about it, it's because I haven't healed from it. And I it's not my place to speak on it 100% yet. You guys, grace is sufficient. God has called us all to greater, and greater requires elevation one step at a time, as long as we keep moving forward. Absolutely, Candace. We got to keep moving forward. You can't sit back. You can't have a pity party for yourself. And that's something I've had to consistently learn. I can't, when things go wrong in my life, usually I shut down. It takes me a minute. Now, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to sit here and cry and say what was me and play not gonna cry and still cry. I don't have time for that. Nothing is being done. Nothing is being done to change my situation. I have to change. I have to sit back and assess where I went wrong. And not just assess where I went wrong. Actually write down where I went wrong so I see it on paper. So I have concrete evidence that this is no longer working. Christina, no time. Zero. I have to write down what's wrong so I can see it. These are things that I need to work on. So if I write down, the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. So I see it in plain sight what it is that's an issue for me. Now I can target it. Now I can say, okay, well, if I do this better, then maybe my situation will change. If I get up a little bit earlier, then I can change. So I'm going to write down, okay, I'm going to get up at 5:30 so I can be somewhere at 8, especially if I got to get Jalea ready. So if I do these things, or I'm going to get up at 5 so I can read my Bible in the morning and pray, then get Jalea ready, then make sure, get me ready, then make sure she ready, then both of us can eat, and then go do whatever it is that we need to do, whether it's a drop off, whatever the case may be. So if I write this down, okay, well, 5:30 didn't work. 5 o'clock didn't work. Lord, don't ever put me in a position where I got to give it up at like 4:30. That's ghetto. But, if that's the case, then I got to do what I need to do to make something shake. But, okay, if this doesn't work, then let me see what I need to alleviate. Okay, maybe I need to take a shower at night instead of taking it in the morning. You see, stuff like that. You have to assess the situation and then work on it. And don't give up working on it until you find a solution that's going to work for you. When you find that solution, now you have the game plan. Now you know what to do. You got the cheat code to that area of your life. Now you can have consistent change. Now it's no longer an issue for you. Now you can say to somebody who's dealing with the same thing, well, I started getting up at 5. At 5:30 at the latest, not 5:31, because if I get up at 5:32, I'm going to be late. And you can tell somebody that, and now they can implement that. Now they can come back and tell you, you know what, Hira, I tried that, and it worked. And now everybody's happy. Everybody done changed, and you see real growth. Just work the plan. Yes, you got to work the plan. You got to have a plan. But if you don't write the vision, if you don't write what needs to be changed, you can never change anything. Because it's just in your head. It's just in your head. Christina preached Sunday about how all things start in the mind. And then it goes to your soul, to your spirit, and then it goes to your heart, and whatever out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So I'm speaking, what is my problem? I'm thinking that I have a problem. And now it's bothering my spirit. I need to get this right. Every time I can't never get nowhere on time. It's really irking my nerves. And now, God, I want to be on time. It hurts me that I can't do what I need to do. It hurts me that Sunday before last, I got a rebuke because I wasn't in position to lead corporate prayer. God, don't let this happen again. Who was at church at 10:04? Me. 10:04, had to be there at 10:30 so I could pray. Baby, you ain't finna rebuke me no more. Especially when we on the live. I mean, it may come, but not about no time. Baby, TJ was like, Jahara, what time it is? Because they were still setting up for service. Are we late? We running late? I said, first of all, ma'am, I know I'm usually late. It's not 10:30. Okay? It's 10:04. On time, baby. I promise you. On time. On time. I made it up in my mind. I made it up in my spirit, in my heart. All three was in agreement with each other that we're going to be on time. We're going to be on time. I believe I did write that down, matter of fact. And I prayed about it. And when you write the vision and make it plain, pray over it. Find a scripture to stand on that's going to help you with that. I believe there's a scripture in Proverbs that talks about the ant not even being slothful. It talks about how the ant is always working. So how an ant going to outwork you? That's crazy. I seen this other post on Facebook and say, you're going to let a crackhead out hustle you because, baby, they going to find a way. They're going to find a baby. You see them folks outside the gas station asking for some money, and they go get a bill, and you can't go get no hustle about yourself. And I'm speaking to myself first before I speak to anybody. Ain't no crackhead and no wine don't finna out hustle me. I'm finna figure something out. Whether DoorDash or something. So I say all this to say, find you a scripture. After you write the vision and make it plain, after you find out what changes need to be made, these are steps for you. Find what you need to change. After you find it, write it down. After you write it down, implement a plan to work on it. You may have to have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, all the way to Z. There's 26 letters in the alphabet, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Find you a letter until the letter works. Okay? Then, after you do that, find you a scripture. Stand on it. That fits your situation. Mine is time management, procrastination, and consistency. I'm going to find scriptures that assist me in that because God honors his word. And then, after I mix all of that together, I'm going to actively work on it because faith without works is dead. I can't just say I want to work on something and then I pray about it and I don't get out of bed when my alarm go off. That's crazy. That doesn't make sense because God did his part. He woke me up. He could have let me sleep on. Millions didn't make it. I was one of the ones who did. So he did his part. I'm up. I heard all 37 alarms. If I don't get up, my faith is there, but my works is not. So I hope something I said tonight encouraged you. I hope that you will be encouraged in your changing process. Don't let other people's lack thereof to acknowledge your change deter you, or if they do notice it but they don't like it, you keep changing anyway. You keep growing anyway. You'll never be able to please everybody, and that's okay. As long as you're pleasing God, you're fine, because people can't judge you. I can't judge you. I can't say nothing to you, because if I judge you, then somebody gonna judge me, and God's gonna judge me, and I don't need that kind of negativity in my life personally. So change for the better, change for you, change for God first, and then for you, and everything else will flow from that. Everything else will flow from that. Everything else will align how it needs to align. The relationships that need to be there, they'll be maintained. The relationships that are meant to be restored and reconnected, God will allow reconnection there down the line. But don't you try to force your hand in something that God is still working on. Keep your hand off of stuff. I've had to learn that several times. I keep on touching stuff, and it gets worse every single time. Like by the hottest degree. It's terrible. Keep your hand off stuff. Just work on what you can work on. Don't work on too much, because now your focus is everywhere when it needs to be on one thing, so that you can make the best of that situation, one thing at a time. That's 12 months in a year, 365 days, 366 days this year, because it's a leap year, to work on stuff. That means you can change 366 things. 365 things, but some things take more time, so don't quote me on that. But just change. Make sure you're always changing. Make sure you're always prayerful. Ask God to show you what it is that you need to change, so that you can change. Ask Him to help you and aid you in the areas that you need changing, so that you can be better for you, so that you can be better for Him, so that He'll get the glory out of your life, so that when people look back, they have no choice but to acknowledge the fact that, you know what, that was nobody but God. Because Jahira late everywhere. Jahira tell us she in the car, she in the shower. Jahira tell us she in the car, she's still in the bed. And went back to sleep. And still got to get ready because she don't know what she put on. And she put makeup on. But now, it won't be able to be said, because now it's Jahira's on time every time. Matter of fact, Jahira be early. She was there before me, and it was my event. That's what I want to be said of me, because I did the work. Because I no longer just had the faith that God is going to help me with that, but I put my works to meet the faith that I have in God. Right, Candace? Definitely a change woman. But thank y'all so much for watching. If anyone wants to be a sponsor or just to make a donation, you can. I put the information for you all to email me if you have any topics that you would like discussed. You can always inbox me, text me, and let me know what it is that you want to talk about. We can talk about it. It can be anonymous. I don't have to say your name. I just want to help you the best way that I can. I love y'all, and I appreciate each and every last one of y'all for watching. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank you, Candace. Thank you, Auntie Mary. Thank you, Apostle. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I love y'all so much, and I hope that y'all left encouraged. If you're watching the replay, just hashtag replay. Make sure, again, y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel, which I did put in the description. And y'all, I got a speaking engagement Saturday. They want me to talk about my relationship with God at the Becoming Her event. It's going to be at Body Fitness Saturday. The event is from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. The flyer's on my page. I'll share that again. Hey, Miss Teresa, how you doing? So yeah, y'all come out, hear your girl speak on God. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to speak to people about my relationship with God. That really does bless me, that people would even want to hear what it is that I have to say. So again, thank y'all. I'm out. Love y'all. Thank you, Candace. Thank you. I'm good, Miss Teresa. Thank you. But I love y'all, and I'm out. Y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all next Monday.